Hey guys, it's cameo for the season premiere of Girl Meets World, Season 2, Episode 1, Girl Meets Gravity. And I really didn't get the title, because I'm like, what does the episode have to do with that title? Until I watched the episode, and oh my god, guys, what an amazing premiere. I'm gonna say right now, maybe the best episode of Girl Meets World so far. Honestly, it might just be the best episode I've seen so far. It had everything that I loved about the first season, but they've added something new to the season that I definitely do want to talk about. And if this is the direction we're heading this season's already going to be 10 times better than Season 1. It's not that I didn't love Season 1. I did, but I will admit there was some stuff that I thought was just a little too much for kids and not really for everyone. Because the show really is a show for everyone. That's what I've said about the show, is that's the thing I love about Girl Meets World, is that it's a show that everyone can watch, and it's a show that I think anyone will enjoy. It had stuff there that I just felt was not very funny, and sometimes just got too silly. And one of the things I love right off the bat of this episode is the self-awareness of this episode. Also, I really do want to say that I was really looking forward to this premiere, obviously, because of the season finale of last year. Now, I know I said that I wasn't going to review this till Friday, but I figured, you know what, I have some time, I might as well watch the first episode, and I'm very happy I did. Let's get into it, because there's actually a lot to talk about, because a lot actually happened in this episode that I was pretty surprised about, but I love that a lot happened. We start off with Riley. She's giving this monologue about, like, the world, and at first I'm like, well, now they're trying to show it's called Girl Meets World because it's going to focus more on her learning more about the world. And, she talks about how we think the world revolves around us, and it doesn't, and her friends always thought that until now. And then we cut, and we see that Riley's now waking up to the first day of 8th grade. She's no longer in 7th grade, she's now in 8th grade. They're not doing what Boy Meets World did, where they had them, like, in 1 year of middle school and then randomly in high school. But her fear is that Corey is going to be her teacher again for another year, and I love that Corey and Topanga were joking about Mr. Feeny being their teacher all those years, because, yeah, that was kind of strange, but I love that the whole episode, Maya and Riley are really worried about that. In fact, Maya's really terrified about it. They almost don't go to school. They end up leaving the house with no shoes on, and they don't think anything of it, which I thought was really funny, actually, that they just thought nothing of it. Also, oh, wait, yeah, there was an intro. For a second, I was going to say there was no intro, but there was an intro. Also, Maya definitely wants to talk about what happened between Riley and Lucas, because she doesn't know about the kiss. She knows that something happened between them, but she doesn't know about the kiss and everything, which I guess she finds out in the next episode because it was in the promo. But getting back to Riley and Lucas, things with them are very weird right now. Things with them are very strange. They're very awkward. They're talking, but it's more like a hi, how are you? It's just really awkward between the two. And it really does show how love like that works. I mean, back, when you're in, like, 8th grade and things like that, things are awkward. I have to say, definitely things are awkward. I wouldn't know personally, but I know that when you're in 8th grade, things are definitely awkward, especially when you have something with someone, especially when they were just friends and they kissed, and now they're kind of just trying to figure out where they stand. I like that the next episode is actually all about that, which I think is really cool, that the next episode is pretty much all about, them not really knowing where they stand, because I think that's, right off the bat, is a really interesting plot. So, they're not really sure where they stand, and, also, I love seeing the first scene we see of Farkle. He's like, "Oh my God, you guys are, your feet are naked." I thought that was kind of funny. It just shows, like, Farkle's humor, which I thought was really good. But overall, the other thing I definitely do have to say that I thought was really funny is when they walk in, they see that they don't have Corey as their teacher. They have this other teacher, Mr. Martinez, and Mr. Martinez is a lot different than Corey, and the thing I loved here is that they're actually poking fun at the classroom scenes, because a lot of people have problems with the classroom scenes. I never really had problems with it, rather than I did feel it got a little bit too silly, and it didn't really go with the rest of the show, but I like they made fun of it here. They make fun of the fact that they always talk out of term, and that they never raised their hands, and that the Corey never did anything about it. Well, this teacher's a hard ass. Like, he is totally the teacher that's like, I'm not going to put up with this. This is my time. You guys can speak when you want to speak. He even tells Farkle that he has Farkle time, which I thought was really funny. He's like, this is not Farkle time, and I thought that was really funny overall. And they really do not like this teacher, because it's not normal for them. They are used to having Corey as their teacher, and Riley and Maya end up annoying him so much that he quits his job, like, literally in the beginning of the episode, which I thought was really funny, and Corey then comes in as their teacher, and Riley and Maya cannot be more upset about it, and I can understand why they're not upset about it. I mean, Riley just wants a little bit of space, she feels she's now in 8th grade, that she deserves a little bit more than just having her dad as her teacher. I can understand that, but honestly, he has done so much for them that I don't understand why they were upset about it, because basically they're so upset, they actually end up transferring out of his class because they're literally sick of him, and they leave, and then we see that Riley gives us a really good monologue about how, she's giving more monologues and everything. We have a lot of monologues from Riley throughout the episode, which I will definitely talk about what that leads to. But Topanga, we then see, is with Mrs. Zaborski and Augie, and I actually really like their plot in this episode, because I thought it was really well done what they did with Topanga. I can already tell they're probably going to do more with Topanga in this episode, this season, which I definitely really like. Because Topanga gets an offer from Mrs. Zaborski. Mrs. Zaborski, she's kind of, at the point where she's retired now, and she wants to go into retirement. A lot of people aren't coming into the bakery anymore. She wants to make it a more contemporary place for kids to go to, and less of a bakery. She wants Topanga to take over it and rename it Topanga's, and at first Topanga's like, obviously I don't want to do this, but she does end up, deciding that she does want to do that, and I thought that was really good that Topanga decided to take that opportunity and actually do that. So I thought that was really good. So Riley and Maya, meanwhile, they do head into another classroom, but it's not Corey's, and it's, again, not at all like the environment they're used to, because this other teacher, who this teacher is even worse than Mr. Martinez, like, she literally doesn't even let Riley and Maya sit together. She has specific seats for them. She's like, you sit there, you sit here, and we meet this guy that's, like, really dumb in that classroom, who I believe is apparently supposed to be Lucas's old friend, which I think is going to be really funny that we see, but, they end up completely pissing off this teacher, that she actually kicks them out of that class, and they go back into Corey's class, and they see that they actually really do like it there. They see that things have been, haven't really changed, but they do like it there, and I thought that was really good that they decide, that they see that they do like it, and I thought that overall was very good that we saw that, because I'm just thinking the whole episode, like, what is the real problem with Corey being your teacher? I mean, yeah, it's kind of unrealistic, but just the fact that they were upset about it, I just didn't really understand what they were so upset about. I mean, Riley just feels like she's a grown-up at this point. I like that Corey and Topanga, the way they talked to her about it. They basically told her, okay, do what you want. And he keeps showing up throughout the episode. And also, the girls go to the bakery, and they're comparing themselves to Riley's parents. And Miss Zaborski actually gives Augie this special gift of he's going to get his own position at the bakery as well, which I thought was really cute. But they're kind of upset because obviously Topanga's their mother, and now they're going to see her at the bakery, and Corey's their teacher. It's just they can't catch a break. And Maya's also not amused about having her mom around all the time, because she's not used to having her mom around, which I like that Maya did talk about that, and I thought that was really good. And I definitely enjoyed watching that. But then we get to the real big turning point in this episode, which I was very shocked that this show went that far, but I love that they did go this far, because this was something that I don't think Season 1 would have done this, but Season 2, I can already tell this is going to be a much more heartwarming season, because we actually find out that Riley is speaking at Mrs. Zaborski's funeral. Yes, Mrs. Zaborski died, and that's basically what happened. She's speaking at her funeral, and she's talking about how she never really got to know Mrs. Zaborski, and she wishes she did because of how nice of a person she was, and how inspiring she really was. And she really made Riley think differently about things. She made her realize that the world doesn't revolve around her, and the world's, and I love that message of the episode, because a lot of people nowadays, they pretty much think the world's revolve around them. Honestly, this is a message that I think doesn't just pertain to high schoolers, but to everyone. We all get that moment where, we think about ourselves. I think about myself a lot, and I'm not saying that I'm selfish, but I just don't really think about it, and I like that Riley talks about this, because it's true. We always have things where we don't really think that we're doing anything wrong, but they were doing something wrong, and I like that Riley brought up the fact that they didn't really get to know her ever, but they really, wish they did, and that it's not all about them, and she even talks about how they need to keep people close to them, and that from now on they're going to stay closer to people, and also shows them that they do need their parents in their life. They need them in their life because they are good. She even talks about Corey's favorite play, which he did talk about in the history class, which I thought was really good. Also, fun fact, when they were in their history class with that one teacher, the one female teacher that was like a real hard ass, what they were talking about, I'm actually learning in high school right now, which is in my history class, was actually very funny. I thought that was kind of cool they did that. But, yeah, so I thought it was great that the show went that far. I'm really sad to see Cloris Leachman go. She was a great character, but wow, I can't believe the show went that far as to kill off Miss Zavorsky. This is a Disney Channel show, and they killed off a character. When does that happen? I've never seen a show do that, honestly. I've never seen a Disney Channel show kill off a character. I'm trying to think of a show that killed off a character. I'm trying to think of one. I'm trying to think of a Disney Channel show I've seen that they kill off a character, and I can't think of a single show, because I don't think they ever did actually do that. I don't think Disney Channel's ever actually killed off a character. And the fact that they killed off Mrs. Zavorsky, yeah, it's like, okay, she was just there to die, but it was just so powerful, I have to say. I didn't expect this episode to be as powerful as it was. It gets even more powerful at the end of it, which I loved this next scene, because it's perfectly setting up what the season's going to be. Corey calls Mr. Feeny to see if he's okay. And, basically, it was great that we saw Mr. Feeny again, and he tells him that he really is happy that he was there in his life, and Corey's now realizing that he was happy that he was always there for them, and that he was there every step of the way, because Corey would not be the man he was today without Mr. Feeny, and I love that we saw that, because basically Season 1, they want us to think he's dead, but now Season 2, they're going to show more of him, and I love that, and this Season 2, they pretty much said is going to be the season that Boy Meets World fans wanted. I mean, we're going to get Mr. Feeny, Eric's going to be on Friday, Sean's going to be on tomorrow's episode. It's going to be a really good season, I have to say. If the episodes this season are as good as this one, I'm very excited, honestly. Rowan Blanchard, probably her best acting in the show, I have to say, honestly. Her monologue was so powerful, and the whole episode, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are we seeing this monologue? And then when we found out that Mrs. Zavorsky died, I'm like, that is an awesome twist. I love that, and honestly, if Michael Jacobs wouldn't be directing the show, the show would have never gone that far. They never would have even thought about killing off Mrs. Zavorsky, and just the fact that they even did it, like, just the fact that they even talked about death, is awesome. It's a show that is not afraid to have serious issues and deal with realistic issues, which I love. That's the thing I love about Girl Meets World, that they're not afraid to deal with things that do happen to people. Because what's one of the worst things you can experience as a kid is somebody dying, and they didn't even know this person. Topanga and Augie were so close to her, and now they really feel bad because they wish they were closer to her. They obviously can't get that time back, but it has made them realize that they need to be more grateful for the people in their life, and I think it's an awesome message, and something I loved about this episode was the message that it had. Also, I love the way they're handling Lucas this season, I have to say. I don't think Lucas is just, like, the perfect guy this season. I think they definitely are making him a flawed character, in the sense that I know in tonight's episode we're going to find out something about him, and then apparently next, the episode after this deals with, our Maya and Lucas, our Riley and Lucas together. I think that's a really interesting plot overall. But overall, guys, I loved this episode. As I said, it might be my favorite episode of the show so far. I love that they dealt with the idea of death. I love that it dealt with things. I really didn't think it was going to go as in-depth as it did, and I love that it went that in-depth. I love that they took that time to spend on Mrs. Zavorsky, a character who I think we've only seen in, like, 2 episodes, but I still felt really bad because we've gotten to know this character. We thought that she was just going into retirement, but no, she was actually dying, and she hid that from them. She didn't want them to know she was dying, but she was dying, and she died, and also, seeing Augie find that note, that was devastating, honestly. August Maturo, I've said before, he's one of the best actors on the show. This episode totally shows that, because this is a 6-year-old actor, and he's dealing with somebody dying. The only show I've ever seen a 6-year-old do something like that is, like, Full House. That's the only show I have seen done that. Disney Channel, I think, has ever killed off a character, and I love that they did that. I hope they do another death, honestly. I want to see them deal with death. They do such a good job with it. I love that they handled it, and no, it was not like Sean's dad dying, but it was just as powerful because of the way they did it. The way they did it, it was such a subtle way as well. There was no predicting that she was going to die. I knew about the Feeny cameo at the end of the episode. I really did. I didn't know that Mrs. Zavorsky died. All I knew is that a lot of people are saying this episode's really heartbreaking, and I have to say, definitely that's the title. That's the thing about this episode, that this was a heartbreaking episode. I never thought the show would go that far, and I love it they did it. I love that they stuck with it. I love that it wasn't just like, oh, she didn't actually die. I love that they didn't make fun of it either, because they could have easily like made fun of it. They could have easily been like, oh, she died, but no, they didn't make fun of it. And a lot of these Disney Channel shows, they make fun of old people, and it's not funny. I like that this show didn't do that. This show is mature enough to handle these subjects, and I think, honestly, because the show did this, it's going to make kids smarter. I really do think that, because, let's face it, shows that kids watch nowadays are not very good. I've talked about this, and I think the thing that makes Girl Meets World so different from the rest of them is that it really does help kids, learn to deal with certain things. While Season 1 dealt with things that, yeah, people go through, like relationships and things like that, this dealt with something that anyone can go through, and that's that we need to be more appreciating of the people in our lives, because we always forget about them. We need to be more grateful, and I love that this episode showed that, and I love that message that the episode's trying to show. But overall, guys, best episode of the entire show. Absolutely loved it. I love the show, and as far as they did with that death, I can't wait for the second episode. This is going to be an amazing season. I can't wait for the rest of Season 2. I'm very happy that they're putting out 5 episodes, honestly. I can't wait to watch. I'm going to watch the second episode definitely tonight as well, and I'll try to watch the third one tomorrow. We'll see how that goes, but that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be probably for the second episode, so I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.